Hello, everyone. It's Reverend Dr. Katie. I hope you're doing really well. It is Friday evening, and I'm really happy to be here with you on a Friday evening. I am at home, kind of taking it easy. Delighted to be of service to all of you this weekend. If you're not happening to catch this live, no big deal. That's what we have the replay for. So this will be available for you anytime. And tonight we will be talking about angel numbers. And it's been really exciting to see everyone's input today and what numbers that they've been seeing. And I've been seeing lots of numbers myself. For the past year, I've been seeing the same sequence of numbers. So I have been paying attention. So a question I get from people a lot is about resources. And today we're going to talk about one of those resources, which is angel numbers. And I know a lot of you have made your way here to this video to find better information and better action for exploring your metaphysical life. And I hear from so many people how this is a struggle because churches either don't really know about metaphysics, even if they're highly metaphysical themselves. They don't quite have the language to be able to talk about that, or they're actively hostile to it, which I know a lot of you have experienced. And then we have metaphysical communities that don't see Jesus the same way that we do as Christians as our Savior. And I know lots of you have gotten really frustrated at this kind of intersection, right? You kind of arrive at this intersection and it's like you're not welcome either way and don't know where to turn. And if that's true, then I would love to speak with you so I can be of service to you in this way. And that's one of the reasons I've created this space for all of us. And I've actually created a few spots for tomorrow. Angels were kind of talking to me, saying that that would be helpful and be of service to many of you. So if you are looking to kind of put aside those frustrations, if this discussion about angel numbers really excites you, then I would encourage you to go ahead and make an appointment with me so that we can talk and figure this out and get you on the road that you need to be on to live the fullest life possible. Because that intersection is going to blow up in a good way, that you're going to have exactly the path that you need to walk on. So if you are frustrated by this, churches don't talk about it, metaphysical community didn't really talk about it in the way that you really long for, let me tell you some of the signs that, we're all talking about signs tonight, but some of the things that may be happening to you as a result of that, if you are frustrated. Lots of us can get stagnant energy really built up. For me, that will show up as like I put my keys down and I can't find them, or I've left my cell phone somewhere and then I have to find some other device and get it to play the little sound so I know where it is. We might feel sort of forgetful about time and appointments. And if that's been happening to you lately, it might be the result of this kind of stagnant energy, and you're ready to shift it and you're ready to move it. And when you do, right, all the angels can really start working with us at that point in time. Another kind of physical symptom of this stuck energy that we feel as a result of feeling so frustrated might even be like weight gain or weight loss, just because this energy doesn't have anywhere to go and it kind of resides in us. And we either eat too much or then we forget about eating. The second one never really happens to me. So if that happens to you, that might be the other extreme of how that occurs in your life. So where do we turn? So angel numbers are one direction for us. And I know a lot of you want to know about signs, and numbers are one way that we can experience signs. Now remember that these are only one way. If you really aren't feeling a connection with angel numbers, or they're not appearing for you right now, maybe they will in the future, maybe they have in the past, that's nothing to really worry about. This is one way among many. And you might start seeing these everywhere, or when something important is happening in your life and the angels really want you to pay attention, then kaboom, all of a sudden you'll start seeing all these repeated numbers. So with numbers, it's really important, I think, that we not actually read too much in them. You're going to see numbers all over the place every day. What we're really looking for is the experience of repeated sequences of numbers that show up a lot. So many of you today were seeing ones everywhere. So that's one of the numbers that I'm going to talk about. So it's when you see a 1 and an 11 and a 1, 1, 1, 1, all in a row multiple times, that's when we're like, oh, this seems significant, right? If you just see a one on a receipt, you're going to see a one on a receipt, right, that you get just during the day. That's maybe not so significant, right? So we actually want to be careful to be attentive and mindful to these signs. You can also be excited too. And so some of the signs that we're talking about, like angel numbers or even feathers, if you find feathers in your path, and I've seen beautiful pictures from many of you about feathers that have come to you and they remind you that angels are around. These are the really obvious signs, and those are great. I love them. Like I said, I see angel numbers all the time. Those obvious signs are preparing us for the subtle ones, right? So they are preparing you for greater and deeper connection with your angels if that's something that you desire and that is being prepared for you. And we can actually get to know specific angelic energies. You might even find yourself becoming a channel for angels. And if that's the case, I want to make sure that you are doing that safely and with preparation and with support. That's something I don't want you necessarily to go through on your own. I want you to reach out so you can connect with me if you feel like that may be the case. If you have no idea what that is, but you're like, I want to know more, reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. We're not going to talk about channeling tonight necessarily. So with angels, they are created heavenly beings. They assist humanity. I think angels probably have lots of other things going on besides only assisting humanity, but that's the way that we experience them here on earth. And everyone's surrounded by angels all the time. You're surrounded by angels all the time. And that's really amazing. And in fact, I'm of the belief, this kind of came to me in my own meditation, that we are all part of a team, right? It's not that angels are on your team, you are on the angelic team, right? We're all on the same team. And here on earth, the angels help us because we have some limitations because we're in these physical bodies, right? And so we can rely on angelic help to assist us and to help kind of clue us in to the spiritual world that's around us. And so angels can communicate with us through these tangible signs. But here's the deal. You can have all the signs in the world, but you have to learn to interpret them and to take a course of action because of the signs that you receive. That course of action might be just to say, oh, thank you. Oh, I see it. But it might be a course of action is also pushing you to do something different in your life, pushing you to go deeper, inviting you into a more deep and expansive relationship with God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit through the work of these angels. And that's the same with any tool or resource that you have. It's only a tool or a resource. It's what happens through that tool that is significant, right? So I really want to emphasize that. So with angel numbers, let me give you just a little bit of background. These do not have ancient roots. So you're not going to look in the Bible and find a chapter that explains angel numbers, right? So these are really actually modern and contemporary. And that makes good sense because it's only in modern and contemporary times that vast number of people have been able to read and to kind of count at high levels and to quickly be able to recognize numbers, right? And so these are modern. They do need to be customized. They do need to be individualized. You need to make sure they resonate with you. And so we have some templates for kind of the generalities that numbers mean, but then you do have to shift them around and customize them. And you look at other important numbers that have appeared in your life and you start counting backwards and forwards. It becomes really fun, actually, but that's all a process that you do have to learn. So we're going to give us the basics, but then when you're ready to go advanced, right, that's a really important part. All right, so I'm going to pause and just check in with questions. Hello, everyone. Someone began seeing numbers right before we started, so that's cool. I would love to know exactly what they are. Someone had a question about cardinals and birds. Yeah, those can definitely be kind of signs that angels are around, and especially when you see the same ones repeated. You know, if you have a cardinal bird feeder right outside your window, it's going to be likely that you see them. So that may or may not be sort of an angelic sign. And so, okay, great. So it's great to see everyone here. Okay, so let's talk about two numbers. We're going to talk today about ones and fives because I saw ones all over the place from the group today. Many of you were seeing ones, and many of you were seeing ones in like quadruple amount, like you saw 1 1 1 1 all in a row. So when we're seeing angel numbers, these may appear anywhere. They may appear on receipts, they may appear on license plates, on billboards, on clocks, on phones, on in you know barcode or something like that, right? And so to me, it's always really powerful when we just sort of look down and we're like, oh, and there it is again, right? That's really cool. Okay, so ones. Ones are super powerful numbers. And remember, this has to be customized, but in general, ones are reminding us to check our thoughts. Why is that so important? Your thoughts are vibrations and they help shape your reality. They help shape your reality. So when you see ones, I invite you to check in with your thoughts and ask yourself, are these in a positive direction? Are my thoughts sort of neutral, or are they negative? Am I being really hard on myself right now? Am I being really hard on someone else? And if we're being hard on ourselves and we're self-criticizing and we're in the middle of a kind of self-loathing, self-negative chatter, or we're in a world negative chatter, then that's the reality that we're creating for ourselves. So the angels are inviting us to redirect those. And if our thoughts are positive, then the angels are saying, nice job, keep them going in that direction, right? And eventually we'll see those ones turn into twos, which is pretty nice when that happens. And it's not that twos are better than ones. It's that if we were having kind of negative thoughts and we managed to transform those, then we might see a two that's like, okay, awesome. Now you're ready for another step in this direction. And eventually we'll kind of get to 10 and then the numbers will start to combine and then we kind of come all the way back to ones again, right? Everyone does. Everyone has moments where we're not thinking the most positively that we can. And let me even speak a little bit about that positivity, because that can be its own sort of like, it's kind of this, the science of positive thinking is real, but there's actually a movement right now about like, okay, but like we do have to acknowledge the real world. And yeah, we do. So this is not Pollyanna. This is actually living into Christian hope, right? Orienting our thoughts towards hope, towards possibility is what Jesus came on earth to do, right? So if we create self-fulfilling prophecies that everything is going to be negative all the time, that the world has no hope, that our lives have no hope, then we're not living as fully as we can into the promise that Jesus gave us by coming to earth to show us the way, right? Jesus came to show us the way. We live that way by our lives. We show others how to live that way. And so those ones can be the sign to us like, oh, yes, I am called to live the Jesus way, and I'm called to do that with hope. And hope means recognizing the reality of the circumstances around us and having hope anyway, and creating new futures. And we start by creating new futures for ourselves. When we do that for ourselves, then we can do that for others. So ones are exceedingly powerful in this regard. So if you have been seeing a lot of ones, the invitation is to check your thoughts. And if they are moving in a good direction, keep on that way. If you need to make adjustments, make adjustments. If you're trying to make adjustments and not really sure how, let me know. Make that appointment with me, because that's what I can be really, really helpful with. So sometimes we just need a little help in making that shift. I certainly did. This kind of thinking does not come naturally to me. It's something I had to learn, practice, adopt, and do it every single day. Right? And so that's part of my daily practice, is to keep those thoughts really positive. Okay, so ones are super powerful in that way. Okay, so we had a good question. I'm going to pause before we talk about fives, because we had a good question. What does it mean when the palm of the hand gets warm? So I would say that depends on what you're doing. And usually that's a sign of energy that's really, really flowing through you if we're talking about an energetic context. So if I'm doing healing work on myself or others, then my palms may get really warm. That's just a sign. It's a sort of tangible sign that the energy is flowing through my palms. Your hands are very powerful, energetic tools. If you have hand injuries or maybe even are missing a hand, your hands are, you are still a powerful, energetic being, and that energy points are still there. right? So even if we have injury, we can still have energy points in our hands and that subtle part of our bodies. So I would imagine that that's a sign that energy is flowing through you, whether you're doing healing work, whether you're in prayer or in meditation, or you're focusing, right? And so you can just invite that energy to be present with you. And if you do have more questions or I didn't answer that, let me know so that we can talk about that some more. It's a great question. And if they're happening with angel numbers, then I really, really want to know so that we can address that. All right, so let's talk about fives, because I saw fives coming up a lot too. And I personally have been seeing fives for like a year straight. I mean, it's becoming comical how often I see them. I should really keep an angels number diary about my fives. So fives are generally, and again, this is all needs to be customized, fives are generally signs that life is changing. Right? So it's this acknowledgement from the angels that like your life is shifting, you're doing amazing things. That doesn't necessarily mean radical changes in your home life, although it may. It can also mean that you're shifting in a new direction. And these fives are the sign to you that I just looked at my time and we were at 15 minutes and 55 seconds. So there we go. So this may be a sign or a signal or an invitation to be aware that you are shifting and that's creating dramatic change in your life. Excuse me. It might be aware that you're making other big shifts. I've been making huge shifts in my life the past year, been looking to the future a lot, planning for the future, staying in the present while doing that. And fives have been around every step of the way as this kind of confirmation that yes, things are happening. I am shifting. And part of that shift for me is being able to reach all the people that I feel called to reach and doing that with angelic help and wanting my impact and my passion and the love that I've experienced from God to be able to share that with the world and do that in dramatic ways. And you're all part of that, and you're sharing that same love too out there in the world in your lives. And so those fives, for me, that five has been a signal like, yep, get ready. Yes, it's happening. Yes, continue. Then when I see ones, then I have to remind myself, think really positively about that and trust that those changes will happen and that they'll happen with as much grace as I can muster for myself, and that if we fall down a little bit, no big deal, right? And we can just get right back up with that angelic help. Okay, so we've talked about ones and we've talked about fives. There's obviously other numbers, and then numbers start to get combined and they can get really big, right? So we can get super nuanced with this. And that's kind of an advanced strategic skill that you can start to develop. And I would love to talk to you more about that. So these numbers, I would say, keep on the lookout for them. Let us know where you start to see them. I would love to know if this helps you shift your thoughts at all, right? And kind of moving those thoughts in a positive vibration. If you're seeing fives and you're aware that you are making shifts in your own life, I would love to know what they are. So this is our kind of discussion on angel numbers. Okay, I'm going to revisit the question about palms getting warm. When you're listening to gospel songs, cool. To me, that sounds like, your energy is flowing. Music is highly, highly energetic. You're probably in a kind of a praise mode. Music is powerful vibration. It's one of the most powerful vibrations that we have. So I'd say just enjoy those palms getting warm, and you might start to have fun and be a little playful with the healing energy that's available in your hands too. And let us know how that goes. Or if you're not quite sure about that, let me know and we can kind of set you up with some other options for those healing hands, because we all have those. So this is on angel numbers, on resources, on that kind of feeling of frustration when you feel stuck because you're not sure which direction to turn with your metaphysical life and your Christian life and how to integrate those. So angel numbers might be the beginning for you to be aware of the changes that you are being called to make and the impact you are being called to have on the planet as a Christian and as a Christian who practices metaphysics. And I would love to help you with that part of your life. That's exactly what I'm here for. So angel numbers are one powerful resource. Remember that resources always point to a deeper truth in your own life, right? Numbers require interpretation, and then they require some kind of action. And that's what you're being called to when you see these repeated numbers. So I would love to speak to you about this. If you have more questions, you know how to get in contact with me. I put my calendar up at the top. Oh, I didn't. Let me adjust that. Okay. Now my calendar is up at the top, so you can, I'll put it in the comments too, so you can book a call with me. Like I said, angels were really, oh, hold on. Okay, the angels were kind of calling to me to create some openings tomorrow and Sunday. I generally don't have openings then, so if that is something you are feeling called to, then go ahead and let me know so that we can get you taken care of. I would love to speak with you. All right, go enjoy your weekends, enjoy your evenings. If you're starting to watch football, enjoy the football games this weekend if you're in the United States, and I will talk to you all really, really soon. Have a great night.